Hi there, this is Debbie Skyrme. I'm Celebrant Spain, and I'm today with Marian from Your Wedding in Spain. Hi Marian, how are you?
Hello everyone. I'm great. It's a Monday. Monday is always for me. It's like a new adventure begins. So it's great.
And it's a special Monday. It's
That's true.
International Women's Day.
Yeah. We're all strong.
Enhorabuena.
Igualmente. So how are you, Debbie? How
I'm
is it
good,
going?
thank you very much. And it's
Did you have a
beginning.
good weekend?
Yeah, I did, and it's beginning to get quite busy with inquiries. So
Great.
you wanted to ask me something about what happens next with inquiries, didn't you?
Exactly, because I think that people would like to know exactly how a celebrant works, right? Because most of the people know how a planner works, but how does every single supplier works? It would be very interesting for them, I think. So I'd like to know from your side, when an inquiry arrives to you, directly to you, to your email, to your mailbox, or if you get the referral from another supplier, like say like a planner or someone else who has worked with you before. So how normally do you deal with that?
Well, my inquiries either come directly to me from the couple, or as you say, I get referrals mainly from wedding suppliers. But if the inquiry comes directly from the couple, I always ask them if they've got a wedding planner, and I recommend that they have a wedding planner.
Very good point, Debbie.
Because
You know how it is.
this is not necessarily because I love you to bits and I want you to have lots more work. This is being very practical, because I've seen brides that have tried to organize everything themselves, which is great, but they haven't necessarily negotiated the best price because they're not here, they don't live here, and they don't have the good relationships that I know the wedding planners have with the suppliers. So A, they don't get the best price. And more importantly, on their wedding day, the suppliers are coming to them with questions. And as you know, little things happen throughout the day. Even with the best planned wedding, there will be questions. And on the day, you want to be the bride. You don't want to be the person who's answering questions.
Just imagine a bride dealing with the bus driver because that person has got lost, for example. Imagine that bride. No. I totally agree with you. I know that obviously from my point of view, everybody's going to say, okay, I'm a wedding planner, so what else she's going to say? But the truth is that the wedding day is the couple's day. Come on. Yeah. They're supposed to be there just enjoying their time with the family and friends that they have all made a big effort to be there.
And perhaps your family has a holiday home here. Perhaps they have a holiday home in Nerja.
Yeah.
They've been coming to Nerja on holiday for many years. So they feel that they know the local people and the local area. So the bride's mum volunteers to organise the wedding. Exactly the same thing. She cannot then be the bride's mum on the day. She's the event organiser. So she can't relax. And suddenly she realises she hasn't been in any photos because she's been talking to the caterers or organising the cocktails or 101 other things.
Exactly. That point makes me feel of the having a coordinator of the day as well. Sometimes couples are, as you said, they might be coming to the destination for ages. They have a relation already to the point that to the place where they are getting married. So that means that they, as you said, they know the florist, they know the cake maker, or everything, which is great. That's absolutely amazing when something like that happens, because it helps you a lot. But I'm talking about the day of the wedding. There are many couples. If you ask me as a planner, and maybe this is going to sound a bit weird, but if you ask me as a planner, is it possible to plan a wedding without a wedding planner? My answer will always be, yes, it is. And I'm a wedding planner. And this is my, my, how you call it, that bread and butter?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so, but that said, it's important to know that some people like to have a planner because they know that they have someone experienced who's going to be by their side anytime they need it.
Yeah.
Okay. And because normally they are organizing their first wedding, but we do have organized many other weddings. So experience is important here. So we can solve problems before they arrive.
Mm.
So that's one thing. But then as well, some of the couples who have the experience of being here in the country, or they do speak the language, some of them, it's great. You don't need a planner, but you need to enjoy your wedding day. So then think about of having a coordinator of the day of the wedding. So then you can relax, right?
Yeah.
So then you can enjoy the day. You just pass over everything to that person. A few days before the wedding, that person takes everything over and say, listen, now is my time. You relax. You are the bride.
Yeah.
Or the mother of the bride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very important.
So the inquiry comes in, and then I ask them if they have a wedding planner or an event coordinator for the day. And then what I try and do is jump on a video call as soon as possible.
Great.
So personality is incredibly important. I would expect them to talk to a number of different celebrants, because your wedding officiant is going to be the third person in your relationship for a while. And you're going to have to be relaxed with your wedding officiant, and you're going to have to trust them enough to open up and tell them the intimate details of how you met, the proposal, your whole love story. And if you don't get on well with your celebrant, then yes, you'll have a beautiful wedding, but it won't have that extra special touch. So it's really important to have a video call with the couple and to just get to know each other, not making any decisions at all. This is just a purely, hi, I'm Debbie, who are you? Why do you want to come to Spain for your wedding? Tell me a bit about you. How did you meet? What was the proposal like? And with those kinds of questions, we'll soon see if we're going to be able to get on with each other, because not everybody is the right couple for me. And I'm probably not the right celebrant for all the couples out there in the world. So do you find the same? Do you jump on video calls with your couple?
I actually do the same. And as well, I think that it's so important, because it's a question of trust and a feeling. Question of feeling as well, because sometimes you say, oh, I like this person. I like the way she speaks, or, you know, I like the way she is, or actually I'm getting a very nice feeling from her, you know. And I think that my first question to them is like, can we arrange a video call, or a call at least, because I need as well to get some more information to make them a nice proposal.
Yeah,
you know, a nice quotation, because my the way we work is really like a tailor-made for each couple. And
yeah.
I do agree with you. I'm not the planner for every couple, and probably not all the couples are for me either.
Yeah.
So it's important to see each other to see if it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because as you said, I have to get to know them in a level that either it works or it doesn't really.
Yeah.
And you can have that feeling, you can tell it when you see each other.
Yes.
So it's very important. So great question, great answer. I have another one for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You want to say anything else?
Yes, I was.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The inquiry comes in, I jump on a video call, and then you were just talking about price and quotation. I'm very transparent with my price.
Perfect.
Because a lot of couples, they have an extremely tight budget, and it's very important for them to know the price of something. And it could be that they can't afford me, which is absolutely fine. But rather than wasting my time and wasting their time and feeling so disappointed because we got on really well and then suddenly the price is too much for them, you'll find my price is on Facebook and Instagram. It will be with you as a wedding planner. It'll be everywhere, and it's the same price. So I don't have a different price for different people. So if you come to me direct, if you come to me through Marian, however you come to me, it will be the same price.
That's very important. I'm glad that you cut me off, because you know how chatty I am. So thanks a lot. No, but that's very important for them to know. It's a great point, actually, Debbie, because I'm just going to put it on my side as well and say, because some of the couples, they think that we as planners, because they are going through us, they have a higher price. and it's so unfair for us, and it's just not true. It's not true at all. You know, we have our fee, and you have your fee, and that's it. And we are here just to coordinate everything and to put you through the couples, to put everybody in touch and make that everything works all together. But I like the way you say that you are very clear, because crystal clear talking on prices is so important.
Yeah.
Because as well, your trust could be just gone in 1 second.
Yes. Another thing I think is important is the contract. So as soon as I've told them my price, I send them the contract as well. And the contract is in 2 parts. This is just how I work.
Okay.
So the first part is a retainer fee. It's not a deposit, it's a retainer fee. And that then saves the date in my diary. Now, I do 40 to 50 weddings a year, so it's very important that my date in my diary is concrete and confirmed. Perfect. So the retainer fee will reserve the date in my diary, and I will also draft a script for them. Now, it won't be the finished script at all, but it will be the bare bones, it will be a draft script. So that's my commitment to them, and that I will 100% deliver, whether they have a wedding on the date they hope for, or whether it's a rescheduled wedding, but that will be delivered. And then the balance payment is due 2 weeks before the actual ceremony date. So again, if the wedding happens to be rescheduled, no problem, there's no further monies due until 2 weeks before the ceremony. And at that stage, I will then give them their full script. I'll coordinate with the wedding planner and the photographer so they have the script as well, so that you know exactly what's happening with the ceremony. And together we work as a professional team on the wedding.
That's great. That's very important as well. And it's important as well because I'm just going to say quickly that yesterday I was in a meeting with many suppliers from the wedding industry in Malaga, where you know that we are. and one of the main points for all of us together as wedding suppliers, like we have there caterers, venues, planners, photographers, florists, all of them. It was the contract, the legal situation that we all have. And it's important for them, and it's important for couples to know how does it work. And you have a contract that gives you loads of rights, but as well, some of the obligations as well for both sides. So that's very important that you mentioned that. I mean, there is a contract, and we both sides need to be fair and to follow that contract.
I 100% agree with you. When the couples first look at a contract, they're thinking at it from their point of view, but they need to think about the supplier as well. For example, in my case, if they have to reschedule the wedding because they can't travel, for example, then I will move the date as long as it's within my own availability. And then if I am not available, what I have done, I have trained up a little team of celebrants, the Celebrants in Spain team. And I know that we can support each other, so that if I can't personally be there to officiate on the day, I will have written the ceremony script, but I have a colleague whom I have complete trust and confidence in, who will be there for you. Now, it's also very important, if you think about, if I become ill, for example, if I were to get coronavirus, then it's very important that I have processes in place for somebody to step into my shoes. So couples don't need to worry. When they read the contract, it's protecting them from their point of view and from my point of view as well. So that I have belt and braces, I call it. So I've got processes in place so that if I cannot be there to officiate your ceremony, I have a team of trusted colleagues, and I know that there is one person who will be there who will come and officiate your wedding for you.
That's perfect. That's perfect, Debbie. That's so important for them to know as well, that you have a backup if something happens, right? Because, you know, because you put all your trust on someone, but knowing that you are a team, knowing that you have someone else, it will help them to be, for the peace of mind, to be like, okay, we are on the safe side, which is so important for such a special and a big event. You know, it's a very, especially with you and I, because we do the most of the time our destination weddings. And as we said before, in another meeting, you and I, we said that destination weddings are much more than a wedding. So that's why it's so important, because there is so many things involved. So knowing that you're on the safe side, it's just going to be a guarantee of a great result.
Yes.
Which is perfect. It's perfect. So and now that you have answered one of my other questions, because it was like, what happens if you're not available? So it's great. So thanks a lot. Now it's important to know if you're not available, if they have to reschedule the wedding day as well. So you answer that question, which is great. So then shall I go with another one? Are you ready?
Go on. Fire away.
Okay. So I'd like to know, from your point of view, when is the best time to hire your services? Is it really in the beginning, or can we maybe think that it's not important? How do you think about this?
Without the ceremony, it's just a beautiful, great big family party. So the ceremony is at the very heart of your wedding, and the celebrant that officiates is incredibly important. So if you want a particular celebrant to officiate your wedding, then make sure you contact them very early on in your decision making and your planning process, so that they can save the date in their diary. Because you will always find somebody who will officiate your wedding, but it won't necessarily be the right person for you.
That's it. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's important. There are quite a few, for me, there are quite a few pillars on the wedding day that have to be, they must be priority in terms of bookings. Because obviously, as you said, you will find someone else, but maybe it's not the right one for you.
Yeah.
And it's so important to find someone who you can trust and rely on. And so, yeah, there are quite a few of them that I would say like 3, 4, or 5, just one handful of suppliers that must be thought of the, you know, or how can I put it? You have to put it on the first on the top of your list. That's what I want. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes, prioritize, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
The same kind of level as your photographer. Your photographer is extremely important, because this is going to be the record of your day that you will have forever. Yes. So it's important to get the right photographer.
Yeah. And I, if I have to add something to this point, it's like, sometimes it's not that important to, I mean, don't get me wrong, please. I'm just going to try to put it in a way that everybody understands. Decoration is important. Everything is important at a wedding. Okay, great. But there are some things that are more important than others. And for example, as you said, a supplier like a photographer is so important, because that's your legacy, is what you're gonna have for the rest of your life. And sometimes for me, I'd rather put some less money on decoration, or less money on something else, and put some more money on a very good photographer. That's what I wanted to say. I want everybody to understand this, but it's important to give priority to some things, and photography is so important. So don't go put your money there. Really, don't go for a cheaper one, or don't make your decision based on prices for photography.
Yeah,
that's the main point.
Because if you're disappointed with the photos, I have had a couple of brides who have not been happy with their photos because they went with the wrong photographer. It was the wrong style for them. They took a long time to arrive. They weren't happy, and it just ruined everything. Yes, it's all lovely and emotional on the day, but you want those memories, and you want those memories captured. So the right photographer is so important.
Photography is so important, and that's why I'm preparing a couple of interviews with photographers as well, because I really want the couples to know how important it is, and give them some tips about how can you get your style. That's exactly what you just said. Like, well, they weren't very happy with the style, the type of photography. It's so important. It takes time to find the right one.
Yeah. And as a celebrant, I work very closely with the photographers. So I know when the focus is on me and the spotlight is on me, but I equally know when to step back. I know not to be in the kiss photo, for example. So you don't say,
you're not the bride.
And then stand there. No, you step back out of the way.
Exactly, that's good.
There's lots of little moments like that where, for example, when the couple is saying their vows, I will be holding the microphone, but I will be out of shot. So I have very long arms.
Very good.
And I move around a lot as well. So I work with the photographer, and I've always got the photographer in the corner of my eye, so I can see the shots that they're lining up. And I am always making sure that I'm out of the way. So you might see a little bit of my folder or a shoe or something, but I won't be there going, ta-da!
That's perfect. That's perfect. It's because you're a very good professional one. That's why. And actually, now that you have mentioned vows, I have another question for you, if that's right. I'd like you to explain us how a couple actually writes their vows.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, during the process of getting to know the couple, I send them a questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
And the questionnaire is for me to get to know them, but it's also to reconnect them with the quirky little things that they first fell in love with. So a lot of couples these days, they live together. It's a domestic thing, and you kind of lose the romance in your partnership. So what I try and do is I take them way back to, what was it? Was it the way he raised his eyebrow, or, was it a little twinkle in her eye? What was it? And then in connecting with those things, I also tell them to put on some music. So what's the music that's special to you? Was it a particular tune when you met? Have you got a tune that you always like to dance to together? So complete the questionnaire, but have the music playing at the same time. Mm-hmm. And also have some photographs in front of you. So perhaps it's the photograph of when you got engaged, or when you went hiking and then the rain poured down and you survived and it was an adventure together. Those photos that always make you smile. Have a few of those photos that make you smile in front of you. Good. And then write everything down. Just blah. It's just a brainstorm of everything. Mm-hmm. And then it's a bit like writing a story. You just need a beginning, a middle, and an end. So from everything that you've written down, pick out a starting point, a middle, and an end, and then edit, edit, edit. Keep taking things out until you've just got a few sentences, and that will be condensed down, and that will be the essence of what you want to say. Okay. And that will be speaking from the heart and touching emotions on all levels. Okay. So it's a complete process, not something you should rush, and it's something that you should enjoy, and your celebrant will guide you through that.
That was the following question, actually, because you said, okay, you send them the questionnaire, so that I imagine that you send them both different questionnaires. I mean the same questionnaire, but you're dealing with them like prior in a private area, each one. Okay, because they're not going to share their vows before the wedding.
Well, it depends.
Oh, okay, good point.
Some couples like to. There isn't a right and a wrong way. Some couples will like to complete their questionnaire together. They have a glass of wine and they make an evening of it.
Could be a nice story to have together. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And some couples like to do it completely separately and secretly, and they send it to me secretly.
I would be more like that.
So, and some couples don't want to write their own vows at all, Marianne, and that is fine too. Okay. So getting to know them and reading their questionnaire, I can begin to suggest some vows for them, and then they can fine-tune them. They can change some words.
I see.
And on the actual day when they're at their wedding, because of all the emotion, it can be very difficult to remember your vows. So I don't expect them to remember their vows at all. I will have written them down. And what I do is I come off the microphone and I stand to one side and they actually repeat their vows after me.
Ah, right.
So the people that are there, the guests, they don't hear that. All they hear is on the microphone, the bride or the groom saying their vows.
That's nice.
They haven't had to remember anything. They're not having to stand there with a piece of paper that's shaking.
Yeah, shaking. That's a good point. Yeah. Well,
guiding all the way through. I'm chatting to them all the way through their wedding ceremony.
Yeah, that's very good. Because I wanted to ask you. My following question was, okay, you send the questionnaire. They let's say that they do it like secretly and stuff, but do they share with you that? Because I imagine that you need to know how long their vows would be.
Yes.
In order to keep the ceremony short or long or whatever, but to keep an order.
Yes, and it's also very important for me to have a copy of their vows.
Exactly.
So even if they do choose to read their vows themselves or to remember them and say them, it can go wrong. So if I have got a copy of that, then I can see if they're nervous or if they've forgotten something, you know, their eyes are like, oh!
Yeah.
And I can just step in very quietly and then remind them of the next bit that they want to say, or they can start repeating after me. So it's very important to have a copy of their vows.
That's great. That's great. Great. And then I think that my last question for today, just for today, because I would dare you to do this again.
I'd love to.
Can you just roughly tell us about the different styles of ceremonies that you do?
Okay.
Rituals, how you call it?
I have a traditional ceremony and I have a bespoke ceremony. So my background is as a registrar. So my traditional ceremony is along the lines of a traditional marriage, all the words that you're accustomed to hearing during a traditional marriage ceremony.
Okay.
And there'll be a ring exchange and you can sign a ceremonial certificate. You can have your own vows, personal vows, and you can have your own readings as well. So that's the traditional ceremony. And then there's a bespoke ceremony, because these days a lot of people like something more visual and they like to have rituals. For example, the sand ceremony, arras coins, for example, hilo rojo, the red thread of this destiny.
Okay.
There are lots of different rituals that you can bring into your ceremony. It could be that you're from two different families. Perhaps it's your second marriage and you want to unify the family. We can do that beautifully in a very visual way with a ritual.
Right.
It could be that you're from two different religions, and rather than having just a Catholic ceremony or just a Hindu ceremony, you want to bring in elements from each of the religions out of respect to both families. So I can do that as well. So this is all part of a bespoke ceremony. And
that would be the big difference between a traditional ceremony and a bespoke ceremony. So let's say that, sorry, from my point of view, if I got it right, it's like the traditional one would be like, as you said, like the normal words or the normal text that everybody reads on a marriage, and then maybe there is some lecture or not, or some people who want to say something, and the vows. That would be the traditional one.
Yes, it's a personalized marriage.
Exactly. And then the bespoke one is when we add something extra onto it. Is that right?
Yes, for me, yes. That's
okay.
If you bring rituals into your ceremony,
okay,
then that for me becomes a bespoke ceremony.
I see. Yeah. Great. So I imagine there are many different rituals to talk about. So obviously
we could do that on a completely different recording if you like.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to tell you. Yeah, I think because we're not gonna do a long video today, so let's make it little by little. We can maybe focus on a couple of them for the next time we meet.
Beautiful, that would be lovely. Yeah? So how do people contact you, Marianne? How do they find you?
Debbie, I can't see. Say that again?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, something happened.
How do people contact you? How can they find you?
Okay, well, they find me very easily. On Instagram, they can say, Mariam, happy weddings, and I'm there. They can also have my the professional profile, which is Your Wedding in Spain on Instagram. They can go to our Facebook page as well. Your Wedding in Spain is perfect weddings. and they could just jump onto our website, which is yourweddinginspain.com. And I actually encourage them to go there because we have a post, very interesting post for destination weddings, so they can download it there, and they have 10 super tips about how to organize their own destination wedding there. So, you know, just, and they can also book me for a consultation through our website, and it's, and I'll be delighted to help any of your couples or any other couples from anyone. I'm here to help.
Well, I'll put the details into the comments on the
That'd be great.
So just to remind everybody that I'm Debbie Skyrme. My business is Celebrant Spain. So go on any social media at Celebrant Spain, you'll find me, or the website is celebrantspain.es.
That's perfect, Debbie. Perfect. Thanks a lot for a lovely chat today.
Thank you. I mean, it's International Women's Day and we are so much stronger together, aren't we?
We are.
Marianne, thank you.
See you very soon. Take
Bye.
care.